The cybermastiff growls quietly. It seems he does not take kindly to anyone making eye contact with him for more than a second. Alright.
You know where to find me, rogue trader.
Yeah, it's funny because my character has a dog, but I'm asking all those dog questions like I have no idea what a dog is. Okay. Alright. Let's couple quests. I wonder if that's the end of Solomorn's questline. As Solomon was part of the newest DLC, which I am playing for the first time, so that seemed like that could have been his finale. I'm not sure though. You must go to Footfall and meet with Xavier Calcazar. Footfall was down here, right? Wallstone. Footfall. God, that is far away. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Time to start jumping. Lord Captain, we've just received an urgent message from Dargonis. Marshal Strox requests you come to the Administratum Palace for a discussion of the utmost importance. Alas, that is the extent of what we know. The message ends there. Well, we just landed in the Dargonis system. I guess we're pretty close. Back to work, everyone. Good stream. See ya, Medicus. Now, the Administratum Palace was also related to the RBD's DLC, so I guess there's more. Praising the Muses complete. The great freedom accorded by the Imperial Navy will allow the mustering of an impressive independent squadron not classified as pirates. You gain 6,000 Imperial Navy rep, 2 security, lose that stuff, and gain triumph over the Expanse. All the inhabitants of the Expanse place their trust in the Rogue Trader during their hour of need. Your flagship restores 33% to the cooldown of ultimate abilities at the end of space combat. Red warp routes always become orange. That's pretty sweet, actually. The red routes always become orange. Means every time I open a new route, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you spend 3 warp points and get a 4th for free. Have to bring Solomon for this. Last time I kind of regretted not having Cassia there because she has really, really high awareness. So let's do that. Because there was a few skill checks during the Abelard family trial thing where I was like, oh god, I should have brought Cass to this. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna have to do a fight here. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother leveling him up right now. I don't think it's gonna be necessary.
Of a world, I am the rogue thread.
Marshal Gregorus Strox. Marshal Strox regards the prefect with an implacable expression. Out of the question. I will only speak about resolving the situation with the rogue trader directly, no intermediaries. Prefect Inscribia Vultur. As she speaks, Prefect Vulture's augmented hands constantly fidget with a tattered piece of paper that may have once been a report. But for how much longer might we have to wait for the rogue trader? 10 turns? 30? Thrice that? Time is an invaluable commodity, and we currently have none, esteemed Marshal. Not to mention that Decree RP 84289 explicitly states she stops abruptly when she sees you. The Marshal raises his chin. Rogue Trader, the Adeptus Arbites request your immediate cooperation. The sacred tithe collected from the Coronis Expanse is in danger, and you're the only one who can negate this threat. What danger are you referring to, Marshal? All of the expanse is ablaze, Rogue Trader. This state of disorder jeopardizes a critical strategic location, the planet Lethus, a clandestine world provided by Theodora von Valancius's for the purpose of storing the tithe collected from the worlds of the Coronis Expanse. Strock's cheek twitches. At present, the planet is overflowing with the sacred tribute, amassed over the course of decades. After we lost contact with every single ship was sent through the Maw in recent years, the decision was made to cease all attempts to transport the tithe out of the Expanse until the warp's tumult had subsided. It was for just such periods of the Maw impassibility that the storage worlds of Lethus was devised. The raspy voice of the prefect cuts across the marshal's speech. If I may provide certain details, as per regulations, prior to being sent to this temporary depot, all tithe shipments were first brought to Dargonis. These deliveries were made using barges crewed by servitors, with the only people on board with the privilege of autonomous behavior being key officers and an arbitrator escort. In other words, the location of both the system and the planet was strictly classified. A special pact was made with the Navigator House. Even I was not entrusted with the coordinates. Drink of water? Adira clearly needs another run. Maybe this time she'll wait until the second turn to blow her own head off. The Marshal looks straight at you. Given the scarcity of our resources, absolute secrecy is Lethus' main line of defense. However, we are detecting increased activity near the storage world's location. I do not want to do this, but I am quite plainly forced to ask for your help. Go to Lethus and organize the extraction of the Imperial Tithe to Dargonis for further safekeeping. Nod toward the strangers in the room. Who are these people? They do not look like administratum clerks. The prefect looks at them and snaps her fingers. The fighters immediately make the sign of the Aquila. These are my bodyguards, members of the Fangs of the Expanse. They are here to demonstrate my willingness to offer the Adeptus Arbites whatever cooperation I can. In other words, they are here in case the diplomatic approach fails and you need a show of force instead. Who are the Fangs of the Expanse? Mercenaries. The Marshal spits the word out in disgust. Vulture sighs. Gregoris, you know we need every fighter we can get these days. You have precious few people at your disposal, and every year fewer still remain. The Adeptus Administratum regulations do not prohibit the employment of hired force. She meets the Marshal's fierce gaze with calm composure. I must remind you to my embarrassment that Dargonis was gutted by Xenos not long ago. And I hope that you have since drawn some conclusions about the importance of guarding your key worlds. The Marshal raises an eyebrow and then sighs. The Expanse burns, all of it. We have no safer option. Increased activity, you said. Marshal, do you suspect that someone is trying to find their way to the planet? The Marshal draws a sharp breath. Impossible. That would mean that someone is commanding vast resources and influence and knows of its existence. We have no evidence that could support this conjecture. Considering the current state of the Coronis Expanse, with pirates and Xenos roaming where they please, it is far more likely that the storage world will be discovered by accident. The hastiness of the Marshal's rejection of your theory is the best proof that he himself considers a deliberate search to be a plausible explanation, but it seems he's unwilling to admit it even to himself. What can you tell me about Lethus? I do not recall seeing it on any star charts. At my insistence, it was struck from all astrological data. It was once a peripheral world with no value to tithe collectors, which is why its disappearance did not raise many questions. No one cared about a planet that had nothing to give. And why can't you export the tithe yourselves? That is an acceptable option, one with which we are prepared to proceed. The Adeptus Administratum has requested mercenary troops of the highest caliber. Under extreme circumstances, the Lex Imperialis permits... Out of the question. There's steely ringing in Strock's voice. In the Coronis Expanse, there exists a strict separation of authority between the Adeptus Arbites and the Administratum as certified by the Von Valancius dynasty and formalized in the Lex Dargonis. Transporting the tithe to and from Lethus and maintaining its security is the duty of the Adeptus Arbites. Aside from the head of the dynasty, only we have the right to set foot on Lethus or to know its coordinates, such as the word of the law. The Marshal turns to you again. There is another reason. Under the present circumstances, only you can provide the necessary level of security for the Imperium's property stowed on your world. The Arbites are too few, and our forces are stretched too thin, and we must see to the stability of tithe deliveries from other worlds, and prevent any attempts to disrupt said stability. Thus, we are humbly asking you to help us. Theodora had a whole secret planet in her possession, and yet no one cared to inform me. The prefect clasped her hands. Lady Theodora was fond of secrets and good at keeping them. You inherited those secrets when you ascended to her throne, but there are so many of them that apprising you of them would be all but an impossible task, as is determining the scope of your knowledge. Are you telling me that the tithe from the entire Cronus expanse is being hoarded on Lethus? How much are we talking about exactly? The Marshal sighs in anguish, enough to instantly turn anyone who captured it into a force more intimidating than the Casbalika Shadow Barons. A tempting prize, as you can see. To save an unimaginable treasure hoard just as a change of pace? Why not? If you were to offer us a modest share of the cargo, we could be... Jay catches the Marshal's icy glare. Outraged! We require no compensation at all, for we operate solely for the good of the Imperium. This must be resolved without delay. I will go there at once. The Marshal nods. I will have the coordinates and passwords transferred to you. They are for your eyes only. Once you have arrived at the location, you are to oversee the tide's transportation to Dargonis. We will meet the barges here and then redirect them to secure vaults. I must ask that you hurry, your lordship, before all is lost. The prefect bows. They didn't say a single word
There will
to,
be no peace in my wake.
Solomorn, but it forced me to bring him to this. Okay. Alright, I don't know where Lethus is. If it forces me to bring Solomorn onto the Lethus mission, I might need to actually level him up. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Do I need to do like a manual jump to get there? Alright, made it orange. Might get hit. Rogue Trader, please accept my report in person. It concerns criminal collusion among senior officers. They will also be present to be able to answer the charges. What? What? Criminal collusion? I would prefer not to divulge details over Vox. It could be overheard by those who will have to stand before you and answer for their actions. I will see you without delay. On my way. Soon as I get this guy back on the ship, he's like, heresy. Alright, what is going on? There's Glado. I think that's the Vox Master. I don't know who that is immediately. Rogue Trader, I hold the 3 senior officers accountable for the misconduct I have uncovered as part of my investigation. I allege that this ship's crew is full of wanted criminals. Do you refute the charge, Janris Danrock? The High Factotum stares at the arbitrator with uncharacteristic coldness. What are you insinuating, esteemed Proctor? Heretics on board the ship of the Emperor's Anointed are a threat to the whole Imperium. If anyone knew of this and failed to report it, punishment will follow. Isn't that right, Voxmaster? Vigdis does not react in any way to the arbitrator's words. I do my duty honorably and will obey the Lord Captain's will, whatever it may be. Solomon, why have you gathered my officers together? I have uncovered a scheme involving all 3 of them. It is coordinated by the Voxmaster, who buries incriminating facts about Voidsmen on your ship in the depths of the archives. Janris Danrock and Ravor turn a blind eye to the sordid past of the new recruits and divvy up the workforce that has come into their possession. This is a completely insane accusation. We are not bringing criminals into the crew intentionally. Of course we're not. I'll admit that we do not try to hunt down every biographical fact about each Voidsman who sets foot on board, but only because that would be a hopeless endeavor. Danrock falters for a moment. But none of us had any intention of populating your ship with heretics. Are we really taking fugitive criminals into our crew? Sort of. Janris clears his throat, shuffling from foot to foot. Sometimes they slip through the net because we don't have information from local wardens. Sometimes we're forced to overlook an unsightly past for the sake of acquiring niche specialists. Even common smugglers, for instance, often turn out to be quite an asset on Ravor's crew. We do draw a line, however, at even a whisper of genuine heresy in a Voidfarer's past. Vigdis raises her gaze to you. I'm sure you realize, Lord Captain, that smuggling and false cultism are both heresies in the eyes of the law, for they transgress his word, but one is far more dangerous than the other, to put it bluntly. Why not hire people from the lower decks? Ravor lets out an uncertain chuckle. What our esteemed Master Helmsman meant to say is that those unfortunates are only suited for menial labor. It is simply impossible to find qualified voidsmen in the numbers we require. Solomon, why stage this scene, accusing senior officers in front of the entire bridge? I was in a rush and applied the regulations I'm accustomed to using on other vessels to your flagship. It was my fault for misjudging the situation, Rogue Trader. Why have you kept this from me? The officers exchanged glances. We did not intend to hide it from you, Lord Captain. Lord Captain Theodora did not deign to involve herself in so trifling a matter as replenishing workforce. She was only interested in ensuring that there were no interruptions in the running of the ship. We have always handled crew appointments on our own without your lordship's involvement. I have heard enough. The officers will look at you in anticipation of your decision. Train specialists. Positive crew infusion criminals. Solve by pointing to the crew. Essentially plus 3 damage. What is this one? Organization plus 1 attack. Okay. Allocate protectorate funds for training specialist crewmen. We have enough masters of their craft on board to train a new generation. It will take time, a great deal of time, and will require considerable financial Danrock stops short under your gaze. Bodie McBoatface has gained trained specialists. The Rogue Trader put a stop to the recruitment of fugitive criminals. The qualified personnel shortage was solved by appointing specially trained voidsmen from among the crew. In the first round, the flagship's lance weapons do plus 3 damage. As you command, your lordship. We will see it done. Good job, Bodie. Okay, where were we? This is why we needed him back. So much heresy festering right under our noses. That's right. Chart new routes. There's one awful route right there. Dude, imagine if I was trying to find out how to get to this place the normal way. I would have been all the way over there before I found it. Visit. Okay, new system. Space dust. Can't wait to see more about the Evoker later. I don't know why I'm in love with how cute the summons are. That'd be interesting meeting when my Rogue Trader was the Crime Lord background. Oh, I found a thing. Lord Captain, we are now in Lethos's orbit. Oh, first try. The ship has successfully exchanged access code with the Adeptus Arbites outpost, but their landing pad is unavailable. The shuttle pilot is already calculating the closest possible landing point. Oh, wait. The Voxcast is interrupted by a crackle that turns into a ragged ultrasonic hum. A moment later, the connection returns to normal. Send the tech priest to determine the cause of the malfunction immediately. The investigation is already underway, Lord Captain. The incident did not affect the security of our Voxcast. It seems more akin to reciprocal auger scanning. Why is the landing pad unavailable? The augers are detecting a foreign object in the way, possibly cargo containers. And what was that just now? There appears to have been an intrusion into the data stream, one that was executed using Dynasty's secret codes. I can only assume we've encountered an additional security measure installed by Lady Theodora. I am ready to descend to the surface. Yep, have to bring Solomorn. Alright, yeah, I guess we'll do that. Alright, we're gonna need to give him some levels. That'd be an interesting meeting with the rogue trader having the crime lord background. We hired criminals. Just stares. Oh no. Say it ain't so. How could you do this? Let's see. Public sentencing. Zero charge. Exemplar. Oh my god. Flesh wounds. Two-hand shotguns in one hand. That frees up a hand. Giggity. Demolition. Let's see. Binding purpose. See, he's got decent toughness. All right, ballistic skill. Funny enough, that happens in the freight line area. You catch thieves stealing weapons, they're like, hey, you know all about stealing, surely you're okay with this. Yes, but professionals have standards. That's what you hit them with. Plus 15% to parry. Choose the first tier archetype ability. Dash. Yes, but I have style. Persuasion is 65. Demolition's alright. Yeah, when Cabela's in the team, she has really high demolition and Medicae. So if he took Cabela's spot, he can cover demolition. Medicae will be J, I guess, but it will be lower. Extermination. Still curious if Extermination works with pets. Extermination says you do +1 damage for every attack you made in combat, but I'm wondering if the pet attacking will give you a damage buff, or it a damage buff, or neither of you. No heresy. You don't know no heresy, no way, no how. Ballistic skill. Stronger together. Strategic adaptation. I don't think I'm ever really going to use that. Ballistic skill. Let's see, law and order, mom justice. Dude, doing this is making me want to play around with Darktide. with the robot dog. The robot dog at Darktide is nasty. There's wounds, there's a bonus. Oh, where's that parry one? Or was it nimble? I don't have nimble on this guy yet. Alright. Coercion. Okay, last thing. What do we want here? Know-it-all, 3% bonus to pretty much everything is really good. That's fine, we'll just get know-it-all. Okay, so we just gave him the ability to use a two-handed shotgun in one hand. Do we have one better than what he's got? He's got a 12 to 20 damage one-hand shotty. That's 27 to 35, that's way more. Oh boy, look at that! Sort by type. Will that put the shotties together? Do I have any more shotties? Webbers. Never really used Webbers. Mars pattern shotgun, 27 to 35. Auto, Cruel Fate, nullifying shotgun, 24 to 31. Crescendo. Hunting rifles, a shotgun, auto gun. Oh, that is a piece of crap. Alright, I'll always add these to cargo. Combat shotgun. How good is his offhand one? Good question. Worse. Let's unequip that. Okay, he needs some equipment. What do we got? Let's see, 25% block chance shield. There's one that's 40. Gotta say, nice video today. Gotta give Noxie a raise soon. I just gave her a raise. And then she thanked me with that. That was in gratitude for the raise, apparently. Ugh. Nice one is Rustwise. Commissar flank Rustwise. Even better. And she's like, yeah, it meant a lot to me. Here you go. And I'm like, what the hell is even this? Venom chainmail. Alright. Trinkets and doohickeys. Better than nothing. Send toughness. Buff to ranged weapons when in melee range. Sounds good for a shotgun. Not an overseer. What's the advantage? That's not me. Just 10 logic. Bayonet chain knife. When you attack a target with a ranged weapon within a 1-cell range, they get bleeding. That might be great for a shotgun. Stab them with a bayonet, and then pull the trigger. That could be great. Thanks, boss. I made it just for you. Good morning. Good morning. I started a war by accident on the Yours Forum about the